Hello, hello, good evening, everybody. You are watching Wind Down Wednesday. I'm your host, Amelia Fortes, and wherever in the world you are, thank you so much for tuning into the show. We have been going 22 weeks strong, all throughout quarantine, all throughout April, May, June, July, August, and now we are here in September. And our community has just been growing and growing and growing. And I just want to thank you so much for being here. If this is your first time here, welcome. My name is Amelia Fortes. I am the founder and owner of Self-Love Story, which is a global online platform whose mission is to teach people how to deepen self-love and make self-care a priority so that they can up-level in three very important areas: dating and relationships, career and business, and money and abundance. And tonight's episode is going to be geared more towards dating and relationships. And I know a lot of you have been really excited about this topic, as have I. And it is the topic of twin flames and soulmates. As usual, as you're hopping onto the show, please leave a comment by saying hello so that I can say hi to you. And if you're catching this on the replay, please leave a hashtag replay. I'm actually drinking a boba milk tea. I tried to open a red wine bottle using a bottle opener that I've never opened before. And I literally broke the bottle opener in the cork. So yeah, that's what I'm working with. So I was supposed to have a beautiful Argentinian Malbec tonight, but I need to go Google and figure out how to save this bottle of wine. So if you've ever done that, please leave a comment on what I can do. I literally broke the bottle opener in the cork and it stuck. And I really want to drink that wine because it's Argentinian Malbec. Who wouldn't want to drink that? So I had to settle for my boba milk tea tonight. What are you drinking? I want to hear in the comments. Okay, let's see who's here. Okay, hey, we got Prince, we got Jeremy, we got Megan, we got Julie, we got Stephanie. We got so many people. Thank you so much for being here. As always, before we go into the topic of twin flames and soulmates, I like to give first the self-love astrology weather report. So what's been going on in the cosmos this week, and how can it support you to deepen self-love, gentleness, and compassion? Well, it's one of my favorite seasons because it is Virgo season. Virgo season is from August 23rd to September 22nd. So we are smack in the middle of hashtag Big Virgo energy. I love Virgo energy because I am a Virgo rising, which means it's my ascendant, which means that Virgo is actually who I am growing into. I'm a Cancer sun and a Virgo rising. And if you know anything about Virgos, it's an earth sign. So I love feeling that grounded energy as the hot summer air starts to turn into a little bit hints of fall and autumn coming in. And it's really, big Virgo energy is really a call for us to dot our I's and cross our T's. We've got back to school for the kids. We've got learning this hybrid online go to school thing. We've got, oh my gosh, I can't believe we're still in quarantine. So there's a lot of things going on with big Virgo energy, but Virgo calls for excellence, and that is why I love Virgo. Virgo is also like I lovingly call them the control freaks, and I am not ashamed to say I am a control freak. I like control. I like things to be in their place. I like to know what's going to happen. I like to make plans. I like things for things to be in their place, in order, and for people to do what they're supposed to do. Of course, life doesn't allow for that all the time, but I love the big Virgo energy because I feel that energy of this sun sign kind of somewhat calls us into that earthiness, to be more grounded. It's a cardinal earth sign, so it's still got a little bit of edge to it. It's not super, super grounded like Taurus, for example, but it creates excellence. So mind your P's and Q's, pay attention to your details. Big Virgo energy does not let you hide and does not let you slip. So make sure that you're being in integrity with your words, your commitments, who you say you are, and to commit to excellence in that way. If you tend to be more of a messy, bohemian, free-spirited type, big Virgo energy is inviting you to ground yourself a little bit more. And that's one big reason why I love big Virgo energy. The other thing that's going on in the cosmos that you'll want to know is that Mars went retrograde today, September 9th. And 2020, that's where we're at. And what do I want to say about Mars going retrograde? So Mars, you can think of Mars, the planet, it's the god of war. You can think of it as your masculine energy. It's really about how you take action, how you do things, how you meet your physical needs, right? Like when I think about men, at least the archetype of a man, right? I think about getting things done. I think about being committed. I think about direct action. I think about making important your physical needs and what you need, right? And so remember what I always say about retrograde, right? Remembering those words, those letters R-E, the first two letters in retrograde. Retrograde always stands for reassess, recalibrate, re-up, re-energize, reinvigorate, right? And so retrogrades are also all about going within. So Mars going retrograde is an invitation to you all to really go within and reflect, reassess, recalibrate how you do things, how you tackle your goals, maybe even reassess and recalibrating the masculine energy that lives within you, the yang energy, maybe it is the way that you communicate your needs, the way you have your physical needs be met. You could also very well be challenged in those areas, because retrograde can sometimes bring challenges if you want to look at them as challenges, but really they're always just invitations for you to reassess and recalibrate. And what does that mean exactly? It's really about reflecting back on how it's been going the last few months, weeks, days, and saying, okay, is this really working for me? Or do I need to change it up, right? So that's what's going on with Mars retrograde and big Virgo energy. Oh my gosh, Jeremy is saying, yes, that's me. I need to calm my bohemian ass. Exactly. Yeah, so I actually know a little bit about Jeremy who left this comment here, and Jeremy's primary element is fire, which I know, and Virgo is earth, right? So fire energy and earth energy usually can butt heads, right? Because fire's main, what's the word I'm looking for? Motivation is freedom and transformation, but freedom essentially. And Earth's main motivation is stability and consistency. So you can see how freedom and stability, like if you have two different people and one person's main goal is freedom and the other person's main goal is stability, you can easily see how they can work together, but you can also see how they might butt heads a little bit, right? So for those of you fire signs or with a lot of fire in your chart, Virgo energy might be challenging for you, and especially Mars retrograde might be challenging for you. But again, life is happening for you. So life is presenting opportunities for you to keep getting better, to keep growing, to keep reassessing and recalibrating. So I don't want you to think about retrogrades or things as like, oh God, here we go again. It's opportunities. If you can look at life through the lens of opportunity versus challenges, that alone that alone will really shift things for you. Is there anything else I want to say about that? I also really want to acknowledge, so today is September 9th. This past weekend was a really heavy one for me. It usually is, and some of you know this, some of you don't, but 5 years ago, my nephew passed away on September 5th, and his birthday was September 7th. And so he would have been 30 on Monday, but he passed away just 2 days before his 25th birthday. And I've talked about this before on this show, where when we have big emotional events happen to us, our body can remember that. And so I suggest, and I invite you all to be more gentle with yourself and give yourself more space. And so I knew that this was a big weekend coming up with the 5th year anniversary of his death, as well as his 30th birthday. I miss him so much. I miss him every single day. And, you know, he was only 24 when he passed away. And so a lot of what I do is inspired and for him and for people like him who did not get to live a full life. He got to live 24, almost 25 amazing years. And life had other plans for him. And so I just want to acknowledge that's what I'm going through emotionally. So in order for me to show up on this show and to show up for my clients and for my group programs and all of that, just know what's going on behind the scenes is that I'm taking fierce, loving care of myself. I took the whole weekend off from work. It was amazing. I spent time with people who I love, who fill me up, who nourish me. I cried. I laid around in my underwear. I let crumbs get on the bed as I binge watched Cobra Kai on Netflix, which BT Dubs, who's watching Cobra Kai? Because Cobra Kai is amazing. Anyway, I digress. So I just invite you to really take time for yourself, whatever it is that you're going through, and, you know, do the best you can, stick to your commitments and show up as much as you can. But this show is really important to me. You all are really important to me. And I just wanted to let you know what I was going through, because, you know, I always like to teach self-love, and like, it's easy for life circumstances to take us out of the game. But, you know, you keep going and you love yourself and you give yourself time. And so that is all for the Self-Love Astrology Weather Report. So tonight we are going to be talking about twin flames and soulmates. So what do I want to say about that? There's so much that can be said, but what I'm going to say is I actually have an expert tonight where I interviewed her and asked her all about twin flames and soulmates. But she has a 5-year-old daughter, so her daughter's bedtime is like unpredictable, and so she wasn't sure if she would be able to make this show live. But we figured it out. I figured out a workaround, so I actually recorded an interview with her yesterday, and we'll be playing that today. But comments are still on and live and popping, so keep leaving your comments as we watch this pre-recording of the conversation that I had with 𝗀𝗲𝗃𝗀𝗃 on twin flames and soulmates. So just kind of introduce it a little bit more. So 𝗀𝗃𝗃𝗀𝗃 is an amazing, amazing woman. She is the founder of Life Beam Energetics, which I'll give you all that information later. She's the founder and owner of Life Beam Energetics, and they offer coaching, Reiki, and meditation services. And she has had a lot of experiences with soulmates and twin flames and things like that. And I had posed a question on Facebook about, does anyone know about twin flames? And our good mutual friend Izetta, hey Izetta, tagged her, and we got into this conversation. Things were flowing, and I'm so excited to bring to you the amazing 𝗀𝗃𝗃𝗀𝗃. And then there's me interviewing her about twin flames and soulmates. So without further ado, Hey, Bless, thank you so much for being here. Of course, I'm so happy to have you, and shout out to Izetta and Tamara. They are the link between us two, as well as Momentum Education.
Yeah.
And can we see your shirt real quick? I know people are going to be like, what does her shirt say? It says love. I love that.
Because that's what we're talking about. We're talking about love.
Exactly. So let's just get right into it. You know, the topic of tonight is I was going to say soul flames, soulmates and twin flames. And so just jumping right in, like, what is the difference between, or maybe let's define soulmate and twin flame, and then talk about like what the differences are between them.
You can have multiple soulmates, okay? Soulmate is someone that is a member of your soul tribe. Y'all were connected before you even got here. You know, they come into your life for specific reasons and seasons and all of those things. They may stay, they may go, but you have more than one, and they drive your evolution, right? And your healing. A twin flame, on the other hand, is there is only one, right? When you were created as a whole soul, that whole soul was split and incarnated in two different people in physical form, right? So then when you find your twin flame, you are finding your other half, like your half of your soul, which is what makes it the experience a little more intense. So that's basically the difference between a soulmate and a twin flame.
That's so interesting. And it's funny because I posed this question. The reason how we met too was because I posed this question to the Facebook community, because I know I wanted to bring it to Wind Down Wednesday. And that's how you were tagged, because I was like, who knows about twin flames? And I got a lot of different responses. You know, there are some people that are like, I don't know if I believe in soulmates. I don't know if I believe in twin flames. Other people were completely like, what the heck are you talking about? There were also some people that were like, oh my gosh, I met my twin flame and it was just like crazy. And so just to kind of give even a little bit more background on like why we're talking about this, why I'm so fascinated. First off, I never I heard about the term twin flame maybe like 6-7 years ago, but I never looked into it, and I never even really looked into soulmates, because, you know, people just talk about, oh, my soulmate, and I think people have different ideas about it, right? They think like, they think your soulmate is like the one and only person that was made for you, and I just never really bought into all of that, because I feel like that's so like limiting. So and I feel like it limits people, because people are like, I'm looking for my soulmate. And they like reject people, or they just have a lot of like twists and turns in love. So I never really bought into that, like my one and only soulmate. I did just buy into like with my friends. I'm like, you're my soulmate. I would even say like, Bless, you're one of my soulmates, because like the way that we met, like there's no way that our souls aren't linked. And so I kind of took that approach, and I never went down the rabbit hole of searching about them, because one, I'm pretty codependent. I'm a Cancer sun, and so I get very attached emotionally to people and things. And I was like, I swear, if I go down this rabbit hole of even learning about twin flames, I'm going to just like completely limit my life. And at the time when I heard about it, I was having all kinds of trouble with dating and stuff like that. So that's why I just never went down that rabbit hole. But when we were chatting before about what we might talk about, you asked me like why this topic, and why did you say that? You had like a very clear reason of like, where is this topic coming from? Can we talk about that?
Yeah, because I mean, it's not a common discussion, right? It's not, you know, usually when someone is wanting to learn more about twin flames, it's because they're encountering a situation in their life that is bringing it sort of into their awareness and bringing it into their consciousness. And it's a challenge to the twin flame relationship can be so intense that it's almost inexplicable, you know? And so you're sitting there like, what is happening? This is completely counter to what is happening right now, right? And so that's why I was like, you know, what is driving this? Because there's got to be a reason. That's kind of how I look at it, because it's just not, it's we hear so much about soulmates, right? But twin flames hasn't really gotten into the public lexicon yet. And so whenever someone is really has a question about it, I'm always just like, you're dealing with somebody, right, that is sparking that question.
I mean, yeah, and I'm happy to chat a little bit about it, but I'm curious to how you started learning about soulmates and twin flames. You don't have to share.
Yeah, I'll go into it because
you go. I mean,
because that's so yeah, that's how I got into it. Because I ended up in a situation that was inexplicable, that was completely counter to who I was in terms of how I was responding. And it was one of those situations where I was just like, for example, I swore if anybody ever cheated on me, you're cut, right? That didn't happen. And I was like, what is going on? And so it's really, I think that is the first indicator that you're interacting with this person in a different way than you normally would interact. And it's almost a compulsion, right? You don't really understand why. It's not anything that you can bring to the surface and say, you can feel a connection with somebody, but you'll answer their call when they've done something really messy, and so anyway, part of the understanding that I've come to is that the twin flame relationship is about poking you in those places. So I spent my whole life, I said, anybody ever cheat on me? Right? It happened. And I was forced to reckon with that side of myself. Not just the side that was tolerating it or being okay with, which I wasn't okay with it, but tolerating it or experiencing it, but also the side that said, well, I'm never going to tolerate that. That side too. You know what I mean? And so the twin flame relationship at its core, that's what it's about. It's about forcing you to really examine yourself and how you're really interacting with relationships and what it is you really are willing to tolerate and what you're really not willing to tolerate. And, just who you are and how you love, and how you love yourself. That's actually what I got the most. That's the biggest thing that I got from it was, oh, wow, this person is my reflection and they don't seem to love themselves. What does that say about me?
Ooh,
you know what I mean? This is what I'm saying. The twin flame relationship is, the idea is that it's not sweet. It's not cuddles and bunnies, right? It's not any of those things. It is one of the most intense and intensely healing, if allowed, right? Because we have to allow healing. We have to, so healing relationships that you could have.
Yeah.
But it will, in order for that to happen, it will break you open and force you to examine yourself.
Yeah, there's so many good juicy things that you're bringing up, and my favorite thing though is that the whole self-love piece, and everything that I talk about always links back to self-love. And when I was kind of looking into it, I saw it as that it's an ultimate, we chose the twin flame experience as an ultimate lesson in self-love, because since this is basically your mirror soul or the other part of your soul, you're basically looking at yourself. And it will test you in all the ways, it's to unconditional self-love, because if you can learn to love your twin flame, you can learn to really love yourself.
Yep. And forgive them.
And what?
And forgive them. Forgive them. Forgive that. Like I said, it will break you open, right? That's painful. That's not fun. You know what I mean? And so there's a whole level of forgiveness that comes with that. And it's not just forgiveness of them. This is the important part. There's a process of forgiving yourself, right? Because you're sitting there and you're like, why am I dealing with this? How did I get here? But what brought you there, or what brought you to this person, this circumstance, is your own experiences, and examine why those haven't been addressed. Forgive self for not addressing them. Like it brings up so much in so many different aspects of healing that I was forced to forgive.
Yeah.
I was forced to. I had to, because I was just like, I can't, if this is like, right, this is my mirror soul, this is my other half of my soul, there's nothing to even forgive, and I had to kind of get to that space, because when we have relationships that are painful,
yeah,
we can spend a lot of time after the fact being like, oh, I'm so stupid. Why didn't I see that red flag? Why didn't I see this red flag? So on, and these kinds of relationships are the ones that force you into a place where you're like, because I'm human. That's why I didn't see that red flag. You know what I mean? Like,
that is so interesting. And I think the main thing too that I want to say in this moment is, like, to anyone watching this, listening to this, let go of like even the label, like soulmate, twin flame, whatever it is. What I'm hearing is that there's an experience that you may or may not have that is super intense, maybe with this one particular person, maybe even with several people. We don't know, because it's like a twin flame theory, a soulmate theory.
Right.
But the point is, because I think soulmates are also there to teach you things as well. Mm-hmm. But like in so many various different arenas, and again, they can be there for a lifetime, like for a reason, for a season, or for a lifetime, right?
Right.
But what I'm hearing is like the twin flame is like, it's like that one that makes you look up that term. What is a twin flame? Or because I've known about this term for years, and I never would have felt compelled to look it up or even look into it. Again, just to save myself, like I said, because I'm codependent and I get attached to people, and I don't want to go get stuck on like labeling people like, oh, you're my twin flame. I just knew that would like get me crazy. But I've been having an experience with a particular person that it's like, and here's the thing, I've been addicted to relationships before, because that's totally a possibility. I've definitely been addicted to certain people that were not good for me. Mm-hmm. Specifically, I was in an abusive relationship in college, and for anyone that's been in an abusive relationship, you kind of know, like, there's just all kinds of entanglements there. But I would definitely not say that person was my twin flame. Like that I would not even think that. I definitely think that person was my soulmate on a level where we were brought together for a specific reason. We had a specific contract, and I learned a lot of self-love through that relationship and through that person, and continue to do so. But this twin flame thing, it's something different. It feels like primal. It feels like galactic level. It's just like
inexplicable.
There's just this magnet that keeps bringing me to this person, and it's not necessarily pleasant.
Well, here's the thing. So very important facts about twin flames. A, you are not supposed to end up with your twin flame.
Yeah, not necessarily.
If you do, that's wonderful, right? There's a whole like process that the relationship goes through when you first find each other, and then there's a process where one twin they call it running. The one twin will run away because it's so intense. Like you're met with this like holy shit energy. Pardon my French. Yeah, like like you're met with this energy, and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't handle it, and you'll run, right? And then hopefully you guys will come back together, right? And then that's when you can help each other to heal. And it is about each other. It's not just about this person coming to help you heal. You, in your own way, you don't even have to be conscious about it or be doing it intentionally. You are helping them heal, right? That's the whole point of the relationship. False flames are a thing.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Okay. So false flames are people who I don't want to say they pretend, because that makes it sound like they're doing it on purpose, right? It's not that they're pretending. It's that there's something about their energetic signature that can convince you that they might be your twin flame. Okay. And it's very difficult to discern when a flame is false and when they're your actual twin flame. What I have found, because if someone is there to help you heal, evolve, all of those things, right? Those things can be painful. So it's not just about like, oh, well, this relationship hurts and love isn't supposed to hurt, right? It's not just that. It's that a false flame relationship will not heal you, right? It will not. You will end off worse off than where you started. You know, I don't know. It's so nuanced, right? But to use like my own twin flame relationship, it brought me like all the way down here, but I'm slowly coming back up here because of all the healing that it forced me into, right? A false flame relationship will bring you down here and you will stay down because they're just not healthy for you. And they are actually more energetic vampire than pouring into you, right? And so even with a twin flame, even when they are running or it's difficult or what have you, you still feel that connection. You can still feel them, right? You can still feel things kind of coming from them, you know? A false flame relationship, you won't have that. You'll just feel drained like all the time, you know, and you'll still feel like there's this connection to this person because they might be your soulmate on some level.
Right.
You know, so you'll still feel that connection to that person, but you will feel the difference. It's not going to feel like it's healing.
Yeah.
You know, it will feel like it's tearing you down. And it can actually be pretty dangerous because sometimes, and that's why the whole concept, and we can shift into this, right? I want to make sure that we talk about this part, right? Okay. The whole concept of a twin flame, like you touched on earlier, can be a little dangerous, right? Because I don't believe there is only one person that we're supposed to be with, and that's it, to the exclusion of everybody else, whether that person is healed or not healed, or like, you know what I mean? Like that to me, it just doesn't sit well with me. You know, it makes me uncomfortable. So the idea of, so you want to just be careful, right? So yes, we all want to find our twin flame because, oh my gosh, the healing sounds amazing. You know, honestly, I'm so grateful that I found the person that I believe is my twin flame. It has been a journey to get to gratitude about it, but I am deeply grateful that I found that person because I am leaps and bounds in my healing ahead of where I was like when we first connected and got together, right? But I don't want anyone to leave this conversation thinking that that is the only way for you to achieve your healing or the only way for you to go really deep into self and examine those portions of yourself. I mean, you know, you can do that in therapy. You can do that with a really good partner that's not a twin flame, just someone who's just there for you. You know what I mean? Like so I don't want people to like subject themselves to this twin flame pursuit thing in hopes that they're going to find the other half of themselves, right? You are already whole.
Yeah.
You know, and so, that's why I've done a lot of studying around it because I had this inexplicable experience.
Yeah.
And it's not to say that I don't believe it because even to this day, I'm not with my twin flame. We're not a couple. We're not together. the connection is still there. Yeah. Like, it's still there, you know, and we have had moments of hating each other, and it's still there, right? So, but I don't ever want people to feel like they are beholden to that person, you know? So I will have other relationships. He's had other relationships. Like, you know, it's just that we force each other into this space of healing that no one else can seem to do for us. And that's the beauty of it, you know? But I'm not sitting here like, oh my gosh, I can only be with him. Like, you know, and he's not sitting here like, oh, I can only be with her. Like, no, that's really not what it's about. So you can find your twin flame. That person can guide you to a space of healing and spiritual evolution and all of those things. You do not have to marry them. You do not have to spend the rest of your life with them. You don't even have to be with them in a relationship. Okay, that doesn't mean that they don't exist, and it doesn't mean that there was not deep and lasting value in what they gave you. You know what I mean?
Well, what I'm gathering from everything you're saying, which is just so good, and I can't wait to see like what the audience for Wind Down Wednesday has to say about it. But the benefit of even like talking about twin flame or soulmate, at least for me, has been in putting a language around what I'm experiencing, right? Because sometimes in life we can experience things that it's just like, and just like with my connection with this person who may or may not be my twin flame, I don't know. But just from looking up the experience and chatting with you about it and your experience, just, I don't know if I'm supposed to be with this person or not. I don't even know what's going on there right now, to be honest. But it was just beneficial for me to like have words to describe what was happening to me, because I couldn't understand this weird magnetic pull and just the vibes. Like, it was just like next level deep in my cells. Like, I could feel my soul being affected just every time I was in contact with this person. But I find a lot of freedom in not like being so attached to it and wanting like, encouraging people, find your twin flame. Because one, I've also heard, whatever you believe or not, but I've heard that, you know, certain theories are that like when you do meet your twin flame, it's because it's one of your last lives on earth or whatever. But like that doesn't align with everyone's beliefs. But I've also heard other people say, oh no, my twin flame is currently not in this lifetime with me. They're not currently on earth. So you may not meet your twin flame. So I just want to say, like, it's just about having language to whatever it is you're going through. You may or may not meet this one person. Neither of us believe that there's like one person you're supposed to just be with. It's really just, at least for me, the big benefit has been just describing what I'm going through. And then it connects me to people like you, where when we talk about it, it's like, okay, like, that's weird, right? Like, that's intense.
Yeah.
So
yeah, like you're totally...
Yeah.
You're totally not the only person that's going through this, right? Like, you're totally not the first person. And seriously, like when I started my twin flame exploration, right? This was back in 2012, maybe. And there was very little information. There's very little information out there. And so I really had to deduce a lot. And for the record, nobody knows what's on the other side. Nobody knows what God's plan is. Nobody knows like any of those things, right? And so if nobody knows any of those things, then all of this really is theory, you know? And so, but there wasn't even a whole lot of theory when I started like looking it up. It was just like this weird concept. What I've gotten is that, you know, the 2020 is a pivot year, right? It's the manifestation of a shift that started in 2012. And there has been an increase or an uptick in people finding their twin flame, right?
Interesting.
Yeah. And the whole idea and theory is that it's because it's ascension. Like, it's because we're elevating, like we're evolving, right? And we're moving up a notch. And because of that, people are finding, I don't personally think that it's because people are finding their twins. I think that people are finding that they're just more connected to other people. So our human connections are enhancing. We're just being more open, and we're being more, authentic in our connections. And so I feel like that's what people are experiencing. I don't feel like it's so much of an uptick in this, like, everybody's finding their twin flame. Like, that just sounds weird to me, right? Like, but like, I have heard the theories about it being, old souls that find their twin flames, and like, all of it's theory.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is. And so if I can leave your audience with one thing, right? It would be, if you meet someone who you feel that inexplicable connection with, and it's safe to do so, explore it. Explore it, because it's intense, and it can be a lot, but it's, healing is worth it. No matter how you slice it, right? Healing is worth it. So it can be a lot, but it doesn't have to be a thing where you're so set on that person. You know what I mean?
Feel incomplete without a certain experience or a certain person. Yeah,
right.
that takes away, versus like leaning into it, exploring that gives you richness to your life, more experience.
Exactly.
It gives you more to think about. And yeah, I mean, my whole thing is about like healing and detachment, and really though leaning into a twin flame experience. It's all theory at the end of the day, like you said. But that does take like courageous self-love.
Absolutely.
And I will say, as much as up and down as this maybe twin flame relationship has been for me, it's always felt exhilarating. It's like, and not from like an addiction place, from like an, oh wow, like this is cracking me open. Like,
right.
I am being forced to look at all my abandonment issues, all the cracks in my self-love, right? And then also looking at this person, there was a lot of things that I was like complaining about how they should be different. But the more I leaned into it, was like, ooh, like that's actually really showing me ways that I've been like that.
Listen, honey, every time I fix my mouth to say something to my twin flame, I say, oh shoot, I'm actually talking to myself. And that's the point. Like, that's what I'm saying. That's their role.
You should. Oh.
Why don't you? Ooh. Exactly. Yeah, that's their point, and that's their purpose. And like, I tell clients all the time, feel all of the feels.
Yeah.
Okay. We are here to experience the full spectrum of human emotion.
Yes.
Okay. And it does not feel good when you are in what's called underdrive. Some people are in overdrive, where they're just like emotion, right? Some people are in underdrive, where they're just like, I'm just cutting myself off from the world emotionally. That doesn't feel good, And so feel all of the feels. Emotions are transient. They don't stay unless you demand that they do. Right? And fight tooth and nail to try to keep them. They're just going to come and go. So feel it. That, in my opinion, is the point of a twin flame relationship, because the divine is experiencing itself through us. And if that's the case, it wants to experience all of it, So it's okay. It's okay. Feel the feels, let it break it open. Cry those tears, get them out. I've been there. I've done that. This man poked all of my daddy issues, all of them. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And I am the better for it.
Yeah.
There were nights I spent crying, right? I am the better for it. So I never want anyone to subject themselves to abuse. That is not okay. But it is more than okay to experience all of the emotions.
I love it. And whether, and just detachment from like all the terms and all that stuff, and just, I love that. Well, thank you so much for being here. Can you tell us a little bit? I'm sure people watching are going to want to know how to connect with you. So can you just tell us how we can stay in touch with you?
I am what's called an expansion coach, which is basically a mindset coach. I'm actually taking clients right now. I'm enrolling three new clients, only 3. So anyone that wants to step into their expansion, a wider, bigger version of themselves, I'm excited, super excited to be able to be of service to people right now. So there's that. You can find me on Instagram, and it's lifebeam_energetics, or lifebeamenergetics.com.
Thank you so much for being here and for chatting about this really fascinating subject. And I hope to have you back on the show sometime. Yay! I did it. We did it, team. Thank you so much for sticking through the technical difficulties, but we are back. I was in the comments, and for those of you who are just joining, that was actually a recording because 𝗀𝗲𝗃 has a young daughter, and so nighttime is a little bit unpredictable, and so we made it work. And we pre-recorded this segment, but now we're just going to spend a few minutes to discuss, like, what the heck did we just see? What the heck did we just learn? And of course, I couldn't do it by myself. I've got here, you know him already, one of my best friends in the entire world, Mr. 𝗀𝗄𝗃𝗃. Thank you so much for being here.
Love y'all, 𝗀𝗄𝗃𝗃, where positive energy activates constant elevation. As always, what it do?
Hey, I'm so glad to have you here. So, yeah, what did you think of that interview with 𝗀𝗲𝗃 about twin flames and soulmates?
I was over here taking notes. I mean, the biggest thing that I resonated with is that a twin flame is like a mirror, and it actually kept reminding me. I don't know if anybody here has seen Black Mirror, but there was this one episode called Hang the DJ that was like a relationship episode, and this entire episode, or listening to 𝗀𝗲𝗃, it just really reminded me of that episode, and it was pretty intense.
Yeah, 𝗀𝗲𝗃 sure blessed us with some information.
Absolutely.
Again, 𝗀𝗲𝗃, thank you so much for being on the show. Yeah, I even like rewatching it, I'm just like, I was also like, oh wow, like taking it in even just another level deeper. And like I said, the most important thing to me is don't get attached to like twin flames or soulmates. Like, to me, the benefit is having a way to describe what you're going through. But I think I see a lot of people out there just get attached to like, I'm looking for my soulmate. And we have this idea of like, there is just the one. And I think it sets us up for failure, right? Because then it's like, if there's just the one, then how do we know who it is? And it just creates all kinds of problems in dating. And I never really bought into that. And like I said in the interview, like I just never looked into twin flames because I was like, I know if I look this thing up, my codependent ass is going to be swiping on Tinder and be like, are you my twin flame? Are you my twin flame?
Yeah.
And if you look kind of like me. Are you my twin flame? Are you my twin flame?
Yeah,
So like
exactly.
I did not even watch it. And the only reason I even am considering that this person that I've been speaking about may be my twin flame is because I got a psychic reading and they were like, you know, this person's your twin flame, right? And I was like, no, I reject. I reject. Right? That's none of my business. No, I mean, again, and I love that she kept saying, you know, this is all theory. This is, you know, believe whatever you want to believe. And when that knows me in the show, it's like all beliefs, most of them are welcome. Unless they harm people, then you go the other way. But, someone who I was raised Catholic, I'm very spiritual. I believe in God, source, energy, all of that. And actually on my audio podcast, I interviewed someone who's an atheist. And so we were discussing like what is it like to be an atheist? Like, what does that mean? And how do you feel about these things? So, all beliefs are welcome here. But I think if you're watching this episode, there's some curiosity there. But I would love to hear from in the comments too. Are those of you watching, right? Like, do you think you're experiencing your twin flame? Do you think you've met your soulmate or soulmates? Like, share whatever you want to share. I see here Megan saying, yeah, TV and movies perpetuate that soulmate and only one person in the world for you crap. Right. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Also, too, just like, because Bless mentioned, oh, yeah, there's so many things. She said so many things, so many good gems. But one of the things was like, use the twin flame and soulmate thing to help you deepen your self-love, which to me, I'm like, that's a great message. That is on brand, right? Don't use it as a way to limit your life, as in like, I only can be with my twin flame, or I need to find my soulmate. A good friend and I actually want to know what you feel about this, Reese. We were chatting on the phone and she was like, for people who are just always learning and evolving and growing, like, you literally live multiple lifetimes in one lifetime. Yeah. Right? I think about my life. I've lived like at least 8 lifetimes, because I had my college lifetime, my high school lifetime, middle school, elementary school. So the school right there are like 4 or 5 different lifetimes.
That's foundation right there.
Right? And then I have my Wall Street life from when I was like corporate. Then I have my speaker life when I was speaking, like there's just so many different lifetimes. And right now I'm in my self-love story lifetime. I had my lifetimes with certain partners, lovers, friends, like just so many different lifetimes. And so why limit yourself to just one soulmate?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so what if I can just speak on that, I too have shared multiple different lifetimes, through certain experiences, certain people, right? And I've just kind of been in this whole self-discovery lifetime. So self-love really. And it was actually sparked on the break of a previous relationship, but it's definitely helped me heal. It's definitely helped me look in the mirror and just really dig a lot deeper than where I was before. So I don't know if that person was a twin flame or a soulmate, but it was something to the point to where it just kind of shifted my whole world, really.
Yeah. I mean, I think there are people in your life that can do that. There are experiences, deaths that can happen. I mean, certainly when my mom died and when Aiden, my nephew, died, and when my cousin passed away. I mean, there's just each one sparked a whole new thing. And that was actually the one thing I love too that Bless said, because she was like, it will crack you open. And that's not necessarily fun or enjoyable.
Exactly.
But you will be the better for it, right? And the other piece that she said was like, yeah, the twin flame experience can heal you if you let it heal you, if you want it to heal you. And especially since I've been like on this rabbit hole of searching twin flames, YouTube keeps showing me like new twin flame videos. And so I actually watched one this morning, kind of like to prep myself for tonight's topic. And what did she say? She was like, because, there's usually the experience, and Bless touched on it, where there's a runner and a chaser, right? Because the experience is so intense that one or maybe even both aren't ready to handle the intensity of looking into that strong of a mirror, that one or both will run away. And what I love that she said in this video that I saw, I think her name was like the Starlight Witch, or Starlight the Practical Witch. I don't know. She's got like 1 million subscribers on YouTube. Anyway, she's super cute, has all these tattoos, and she's like a little gothic pixie fairy. But she was like, girl, actually, this is my rendition. This is not how she said it. But this is how she was like, basically like, girl, if you meet your twin flame and they're running, like, dude, let them run, because then they're not ready. They're not ready for the intensity of what will actually happen when you come together. So you don't want to force that. You want that to take its natural course. And that's what I love about that, because then Bless kind of said it in her own way, where it's like, it will heal you if you let it.
Exactly.
You know? And I think people like you and I, we definitely were like, we're always looking like, okay, how can this heal me? How can this move me forward? Crack me open. But that's why I call the podcast, my podcast, Courageous Self-Love, and the healing circles that I do, Courageous Self-Love. Because, you know, to me, regular self-love is like, I got my nails done, I went to the spa, I got a massage. But like Courageous Self-Love is like, yo, all right, let's roll up the sleeves. Let's go into the basement of our psyche with Clorox and a bucket and a mop.
Exactly.
Bucket and a mop hits different nowadays. But,
Thanks.
but like go through and like clean house and like, yes, crack me open. And that's for the brave and daring, you know? Not everyone is up for that kind of work. And yeah, if your twin flame or if your soulmate or whoever is running, go let them do the work, the healing work that they got to do. So, and you do the healing work you got to do, because you can't miss an opportunity that's meant for you.
Exactly.
Any words of wisdom you would like to leave us with tonight, Reese? Thank you so much for being here. It's so good to have you.
Nah, I think that's a great way to leave it. I mean, just what Andrea, I apologize if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. But that hashtag Clorox, I think that's the best way to wrap it up. I mean, just clean house, you know, or at least if you come across a twin flame, you know, just be ready to clean house, because they'll reveal a lot of you to you.
Yes. Oh, Jeremy watches. It's Starlight, the Practical Witch. Thank you, Jeremy. And Prince is saying, looking for my gay twin flame. I'm so glad you said that, because actually Starlight mentions it in the video that I saw about twin flames. And it's basically like, yeah, your twin flame will match your sexuality, right? And it's really it's really a whole soul. You are one whole soul that is such an advanced soul that you decided to inhabit two bodies, but you'll essentially be like mirrors, but also counterparts. So like the yin and the yang. So the gender that you inhabit in this lifetime is not really relevant necessarily, but it will be the right match for you. Right. But again, like you said, you're looking, like, don't go looking. Be the best that you can be and attract what is right for you. And Clorox, I'm not sure where, maybe do they only have Clorox in America? So Clorox is a brand name for bleach. And here in the United States, when we talk about Clorox, we're like, we want to clean something, like we want to clean up blood and dirt and like, so that it's just a bleach brand. But thank you for asking questions. I just want to, yeah, so Jeremy watches Starlight. Okay, I think we've got all the different comments. I hope you all enjoyed tonight. I certainly did. This is such a juicy, juicy topic. Thank you so much, Reese, for being here. As always, we are here every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, or if you're on the other side of the world, it would be Thursday morning for you. Go to a time zone converter. But we're here every week, and I may be taking a little bit of a break, but I'll let y'all know if I take a break, at least a couple weeks, because we've been going strong. This is our 22nd week, Reese.
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing this for 22 weeks.
Shout out to quarantine, COVID.
Shout out to Miss Rona. Anyway, thank you all. Thank you all so much for being here, and thank you, Reese, and we will see you next week. Bye.